Welcome to the Football Fignuts podcast. This is season 9, episode 5, and altogether, all episodes combined come out to 355. I am Sinch.
I'm Craig.
I am Britt. Oh crap!
Wow.
Damn it! I
That's all right.
said
Keep
to
it
myself,
in. Keep it in.
No,
keep
no,
going.
just keep rolling.
Keep
It's
going.
It's an old riff track joke right there. I said to myself as soon as it started, I went, I wonder if Craig expected me to go second or third. Shit. Okay. Well, now we know the answer is Craig was expecting me to go third.
Next time I'll do this. I'm Sinch. He's Craig. He's Britt. We're going to talk about this. Guys, what do you think? Okay, good.
Well, that's like what they do that's what they do like in football broadcasts, right? Hi, I'm Jim Nance, and this is Larry McNeil. You know, I just made up a name off the top of my head. But that's what they do to keep it simple. And of course, we can't do anything simple here. Which is why tonight it is the tight end, kicker, defense spectacular. The best episode of the year.
My favorite.
The episode where the only beer that ever has been banned in our history was drunk. And that was, what the hell was that? Was it
double ruffled, which is now gone forever.
Ruffled.
Gone forever.
I liked
that
beer.
What's that?
I liked that beer.
It was strong, though.
I liked that beer.
Oh, it was good, but it was strong. I mean, that and the time we opened the 6-year-old bottle of whatchamacallit, Igor's Dream. Those are the only 2 nights I was like, I don't know if I'm going to finish this podcast.
Yeah.
but anyway, I'm getting ahead of ourselves. Let's start where we always start. Let's start with Sinch. Sinch, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, this fine evening, I stopped and I picked up a fat orange cat.
Ooh, which one?
All cats are gray in the dark.
Are you kidding? That is one of Christie's all-time favorite beers. Have you tried it yet?
In a second.
All right, so I will tell you right now, it's a I don't know if it's not a white stout. I forget what they call it, but it is a white lighter. Stout. It's called a white stout. Okay, it's a lighter colored stout. It tastes like a stout and it don't look like a stout in a glass. And if I stop at the liquor store and I say I don't have any beer in the fridge, I want some beer for tonight, she'll be like, all right, do you need anything? No. That changes if she sees all cats are gray on the shelf or in a cooler. That changes instantly. She has to pick it up.
What is that taste? Is it the white stout that has that different taste?
I've always gotten coffee and chocolate out of it myself, but yes, the color does not really give it justice.
I feel like I'm tasting like white chocolate.
It might be. But yeah, do you like it?
Yeah, it's good. Tastes like beer.
And look at you. You got a flavor profile out of it. You always complain you can't ever get a good profile on it. You got a good profile on that one. Good for you. Craig, what are you drinking tonight?
So tonight I have a larger can. It's one of those like pint and a quarter kind of tall cans. This is a Wrench Hazy IPA from Industrial Arts Brewing.
See, now if you would have said it was a Colt 45, I would have fallen over.
I've never. Industrial Arts makes really highly rated stuff. I've tried Wrench. I've tried like 1 or 2 of the other ones, and I have yet to be impressed with anything they do. It's just not a Brit style beer. I can't get into it.
Yeah,
I mean, you've had it before, right?
Yeah, I think the Wrench is it's a pretty standard IPA mostly. So
it is.
Yeah, but what does it taste like?
It tastes like a beer that's an IPA and slightly fruity.
All right.
Like,
it's
grapefruity. A
little bit of grapefruit. Yeah, I'd say a little citrusy.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get moving because there's so much to talk about tonight. Let's jump right into burning hot takes, and I am going to take the first one again this week because big news out of the NFL. ESPN is acquiring the NFL Network, which includes the Red Zone channel and NFL's fantasy football software. And it's only costing ESPN 10% of its total equity. Since you are known to dislike ESPN for a number of reasons, you've got to have some strong opinions about this move. I want to hear what you think. Is this good for the NFL? Is this bad for the NFL? Where do you stand on this?
Well, the NFL, it's good for them. They get lots of money. The owners, they get lots of money. The players, in turn, long way down the way, will end up getting more money from this deal. So let's put all of that to the side. The rich get richer. The thing we need to worry about is, how does this affect the fans that want to watch the game? Are we going to be inundated with ESPN personalities constantly walking through the red zone and the NFL network? Is the NFL network's morning show, are they going to be forced to have ESPN people part of their show? All right. My big question is, 3 months from now, will I know that ESPN has anything to do with the NFL network? Because if it's a no, you have no idea, then okay, fine. But if they try and ESPN it up, I'm going to be really upset.
Yeah, I've been on record numerous times about how much there are certain celebrities I just don't want to deal with on ESPN. The two most notables, and I won't go into my typical rant because I've been well documented this. I am not a fan of Stephen A. Smith's style of broadcasting. He's a smart dude. He's got some really interesting takes, but the whispering to yelling and back to whispering kind of fanaticism he tries to bring to it just isn't me. And I'm not a fan of the Pat McAfee phenomenon. I don't know why ESPN is all in on Pat McAfee. The guy can't even sit down, and Aaron Rodgers is like a preferred guest. So I can't get it. So yeah, I have the same. That's basically my concern too. My concern too.
I feel the same way you do about that. And I wonder if it's an age thing. We're just about the same age. If we were 15 years younger, maybe we would love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Craig, what are your thoughts on the merger? Or the acquisition, I should say.
It's not expected, since we talked about it a few weeks ago or a few episodes ago, whatever. For the consumer end of it, which I mentioned last time, I think it's a good thing for consumers of it, because the NFL's streaming, for whatever reason, because it's a multi-billion-dollar entity, their streaming was terrible. Their apps were terrible. The streaming was terrible. So from that end of it, it's a giant upgrade for people. My question is, are they going to? So everyone has like ESPN Plus now with Disney and Hulu and whatever package.
Oh, I don't.
Well, most people do, I think. I assume.
I mean, I might have it and just I never signed up.
There's that too. I want to know if this is going to cost extra now, or if they're going to like increase the price of said package. So that will be
nothing free.
Interesting to know.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see how it shakes out. But yeah, it sounds like we all have the same concerns. Sinch, what's burning with you tonight?
Pass.
He passes. That's fair. That's okay. It's okay. Craig, what's burning with you?
So George Kittle said he
I know where this is going.
Is mad because the NFL is getting rid of something, and he's thinking about not playing football anymore because the NFL
Is it Gatorade?
It is not Gatorade.
Is it water or something essential, like safety equipment?
Some can argue it's essential, but I wouldn't say it's safety.
What is it, Craig?
The NFL is banning smelling salts from the sidelines of the NFL, and George Kittle is very upset about it. The NFL is banning it because it can mask concussion symptoms, which is funny to me for the NFL to say that in general, since it took how many decades for the NFL to admit concussions were a thing. So I just find that part of their statement amusing. But yeah, thoughts on George Kittle being mad.
Can we talk just really quickly before we get into George Kittle being mad? Let's talk what smelling salts actually do.
Sure.
Because I think everybody understands, like they've seen old timey cartoons. Somebody's passed out and they wave this little container under their nose, and all of a sudden they pop back up. That's actually exactly what happens. Smelling salts are an ammonia derivative that so annoys your nasal passages that your brain literally snaps into fight or flight mode. Your autonomous nervous system activates. So when they wave that under an unconscious person, what you're basically what they're telling the brain with that smell is you are in mortal danger and you need to wake up. And so if you have a concussion or you have some sort of other injury related to the brain, I don't know what else would be, I'm not thinking we're having massive brain injuries here, but like parts of my skull are hanging out kind of thing. But what you're basically doing is telling the brain whatever you're dealing with in this moment is not as important as what this is presenting as, because you are going to die. That is essentially what smelling salts does. So if a person is having some sort of concussive symptoms, yes, there is the possibility that smelling salts could rouse a person, not to the point where there's concussion non-existent, but to where it's harder to detect the symptoms. So I think this is a pretty good move. And if George Kittle has a problem with it, then I would have concerns about the safety of George Kittle's brain, because that tells me he uses this shit a lot, and that can't be good.
Yeah,
Can't be good.
I wonder if there's like a limit of how many times you can use it, like in a day.
You shouldn't use it. You should only use it in case of emergencies. But we have seen in years gone by, I can remember seeing old games from the 70s and 80s, linemen just handing a container down, taking a quick whiff and handing it down in order to kind of rouse themselves a little bit. That is scary shit.
Yeah.
It's your thoughts.
Kittle said that he uses them before every series.
Oh, man. Really?
That's what he said. I read the same article.
Unbelievable. That cannot. All right, now I'm going to WebMD while we're talking. I'm looking to see benefits, side effects. Side effects include trouble breathing, headache, vomiting, and diarrhea. Okay. It can cause damage to the nasal passages or lungs. It can irritate skin and eyes. It can make existing breathing conditions worse. Yeah, I don't.
Yep, and
I don't know.
they have banned ammonia capsules, inhalers, ammonia in a cup, and any form of smelling salt.
It's ammonia.
So it's like a little pack you rip open and sniff.
Yes.
Hey, can I throw in an aside?
Please. Yes.
Not football related.
On
Saturday, Jen Powell will become the first woman to umpire in Major League Baseball game. That's something.
Cool.
That's noteworthy.
I think so. But I mean, why can't we have that? Why is it taking us this long to just have a woman figure out why Major League Baseball? I mean, good for her, and I'm glad they're doing it. But why? It's not 1850. Cy Young isn't out there making cat calls anymore.
All right. Here is an NFL headline. Aaron Donald, who retired, keep in mind. Aaron Donald says that if the Rams were able to get Micah Parsons, he will come out of retirement. My question to you, will the Rams now go out and get Micah Parsons?
No. Their quarterback just had to get a shot in his spine or neck because he's having disc discomfort. So I don't think they're really concerned about finding a linebacker when their quarterback might not be able to throw a ball next week.
I think they've moved on from Aaron. I think they've moved on from Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald will always be one of those guys that was really good, but also brought a lot of controversy with him because of the way he behaves and the way he talks. So,
I would take Aaron Donald on my team any day of the week.
Okay. I would not. And that comes from a guy who, like, half my team is possibly going to be suspended at any given moment for drag racing. So,
Well, hey, that's another headline. What's his name? The Vikings
Jordan
wide
Addison?
receiver. Addison, yes.
Jordan Addison, yep.
Suspended the first 3 games because of his DUI. Did you hear the details of his DUI?
I did not.
No.
I don't want to make light of it, but it's kind of funny. He was found in his fancy, expensive Mercedes. I think it was a Mercedes. In the middle of the road, asleep. And they said that they believe alcohol was involved. But I don't know. I guess because he wasn't driving, it's not necessarily a straight up DUI. But anyway, this was 2 years ago, or I guess before last season. I think it was 2 years ago. But anyway, It came down and he's suspended the first 3 games.
So I just want to add one minor correction to what Sinch just said. He's only suspended. No, it's just a minor correction. He's only suspended 2 games because week 1 they play the Bears, and that doesn't actually count as a game.
Zing.
So he misses against the Bears, and then he misses 2 games. He misses the 2 games that follow their win over the Bears. So
now I know you're making the joke because we pick on the Bears, mostly because of Sean. But have you heard some of the things coming out of camp? It seems like the Bears are not doing too well.
It sounds like the new regime is actually kind of shooting itself in the foot, from what I'm hearing.
And I doubt Sean is surprised. Not that he'll listen to this, but
so one of the things I heard that came out, and then we'll get onto the rankings. I swear, guys, is they had a bad practice at Soldier Field at the beginning of the week. So the head coach made it clear that he expected it was going to be a full contact practice and expected everyone to be playing like their jobs were on the line or something to that effect. And skirmishes broke out because people were hitting each other too hard. And I was just kind of like, this is not, you do not want to be beating each other senseless. And we're doing goal line drills. So there's a lot of physicality in goal line drills. You're doing goal line drills and authorizing full contact. That seems like a quick way to get some of your guys banged up way too early.
Well, the guys doing the biggest banging are the guys that are most likely working at UPS in a month. And they're trying to, look, I can do it. I could, keep me on the team. So they're going to do whatever they can. They just need the coach to say, go ahead and do it. And he said, go ahead and do it.
Well, from what I heard, two of the skirmishes involved DeAndre Swift and Roshan Johnson. And those are both guys who have their roster spots secured and guys that you need to not be banged up. So if a linebacker is taking out Roshan Johnson and then standing up and looming over him, and that, I don't care if that guy is working for UPS or he's my first string, that's a bad look. I need my running back to boys. It's shades of Todd Haley to me. It's shades of Todd Haley. It's a guy who comes in who's like, don't worry, I am going to set the tone from day one. And I think ultimately he's going to end up alienating more people than he's going to make things worse rather than better.
And you know what? So, this is a great offensive coordinator that everybody wanted to hire as head coach, who's never been the head coach. Mm-hmm. And this is the kind of learning bump in the road that you can't anticipate.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is why sometimes I'm like, well, why do you keep recycling the same head coaches? Because recycling the same head coaches, at least they know how to be a head coach. They're not going to have drills killing each other on the 1 yard line in the preseason. But I'm drawing a blank on his name. The Bills coach from the 80s, the one who took him to 75 Super Bowls.
Marv Levy.
Thank you. I saw a news article with him today, and now I'm going to confirm it.
Oh man, he's got to be 90.
That's the thing. I heard that he turns 100 this week.
Yeah, I mean, he's old. God bless him.
He did. He turned 100 years old on August 3rd. On Sunday, Marv Levy turned 100. He actually looked pretty good. He did.
That's only because he looked so old 35 years ago.
He apparently made it. They threw some sort of party for him at the Football Hall of Fame this weekend, and he was there, and he was able to show up and do his thing. So, all right, I'm sorry. We got to get into we're already 20 minutes in. We haven't even set a single tight end yet. So let's get into the tight ends. So let's start with our consensus rankings. We have Brock Bowers as the consensus 1. He is not a universal 1. Sean has him at 1. Craig has him at 1. The pro ranking we referenced, he has him at 1. Cinch has him at 2. I have him at 3. I'm not sold on any Raider being that good, but score-wise, he's the 1. We have Trey McBride at 2, George Kittle at 3. We have Sam Laporta at 4, and TJ Hawkinson at 5. Craig, you have TJ Hawkinson all the way down at 12. He was brought up into the top 5 because everybody else had him between 4 and 6. What concerns you about TJ Hawkinson this year?
Really the injury history, which I know is always my biggest concern for players, and also the changing coaching and possibly the offense. I just don't know what.
Isn't he? Where is he now?
TJ Hawkinson?
Yeah. Vikings?
Why am I drawing a complete blank on this now?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the Vikings. They have the same coach.
Yes, he's a Viking.
Same coach, but different. They have a different offense because I don't know how their quarterback's going to be.
No,
they are changing quarterback. No matter how you slice it.
Valid point. You broke my brain for a second.
Sorry.
That's a me problem. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's my fault. I should have said personnel changes. That's my bad.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, that's my concern about it. I feel that way unless your name is Justin Jefferson. If you're a Viking, I have a giant question mark above your head. So
fair. All right. Well, moving further down the list, we've got David Njoku at 6, Evan Engram at 7, Tucker Kraft at 8, Dallas Goedert at 9, and Mark Andrews at 10. Since you've got Tucker Kraft at 11. Outside of that, our top 10 matches your top 10, which is kind of crazy and awesome.
Hey, all right.
The one guy who's not who you have in the top 10 that the rest of the team does not is Isaiah Likely. What do you like looking at Isaiah Likely this year? What makes him a top 10 tight end in your mind?
If Isaiah Likely were to be on, say, the Lions or the 49ers, a team that would let him be the number one guy, I think he's a top 2 or 3 tight end in the league. Unfortunately, he's behind Mark Andrews on the Ravens. And anytime Likely they give him a lot of snaps, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But if you watch a Raven game, it's like he's on the field, nothing is happening. They get the ball to him, and it's like a big play. And then they throw it to him again, and it's a big play. And then you don't see the ball go his way for 2 quarters because Mark Andrews is there. If Andrews is hurt, if Andrews is... he's not going to be released or traded or anything, but if Andrews doesn't play, Likely is a top 3 tight end in the league.
Interesting. We need to talk about Mark Andrews because Mark Andrews scored a 14 in our consensus system. And he scored that low because one contributor did not rank him in the top 20. I'm sorry, in the top 30. We have everyone on the team has him between number 5 and number 9. Except for Craig. Craig, you don't think Mark Andrews is a top 30 tight end this year?
No, I made my tight end list. And I made a list and I put him and I put Andrews and someone else. I left them off the list because I didn't know where I should put them. And then I looked at the list again and I honestly, genuinely could not tell you where to pick them because I have giant question marks about them. My thing with Andrews... Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
My thing with Andrews, again, is his injuries. And the other issue is, as someone who follows the AFC North a lot, like, the Ravens' offense, especially with them having Henry there now, and the way Lamar plays, and the receivers the Ravens have, I just don't feel... If you're in a draft, I don't feel Andrews is worth your pick. That's my problem. I just don't think he's going to have 1-2 big plays a game if he's not hurt, but I don't think it's consistent enough. In my mind, it wasn't consistent enough for me to put him anywhere for me to tell anyone to draft him. So rankings, this is basically how we expect people to finish in our personal opinions, how we expect them to finish in points for the year. We're sitting there when we put Darren Waller ahead of Adam Troutman. It's because we think Darren Waller is going to score more points, not necessarily a better draft option, but our ratings, we put them at higher points. But you put him behind guys like Brevin Jordan and Drew Sample. Are you going on record and saying you think they will have more fantasy points this year than Mark Andrews? I think it's possible. If Mark Andrews finishes this season, I'll be impressed. So,
Sinch, does that shock you that he left Mark Andrews off the list?
Knowing Craig, no, because he's a Bengals fan and he hates everybody.
I only hate the Steelers.
He hates everybody.
He hates everyone.
Only
he's
the
angry
Steelers.
at the world.
Well, that's a different topic.
He's an angry young man.
Oh, he ain't that young.
Well, to me, he is. I think that Mark Andrews is a good, solid, bottom 10, bottom top 10 kind of tight end. And okay. I hear everything Craig is saying. And in my mind, I'm not rooting for someone to be injured because I don't do that. I don't want to do that. But I would love to see Likely get the chance to be the guy because I'm very high on Isaiah Likely.
So interesting stat from last year regarding Mark Andrews. He appeared in all 17 games, but he only started 13. So I do feel like that there is something to be said about like they're trying to keep him healthier and on the field longer. He's only had 1 year where he made less than 14 appearances, and that was 2023 when he only made 10. He got seriously injured. So, but mileage is a thing, and he does turn 30 this year, and that seems to be the magic number for a lot of people's offenses. So that's something to consider. Number 11. Oh my God, I just went through puberty there. Let me try that again. Number 11 is Jonnu Smith. Very divisive figure on our team. There's a lot of people who are big on Jonnu and a lot of people who are not. Number 12 is Hunter Henry. Number 13 is Travis Kelce. Number 14, Dalton Kincaid. And number 15, Pat Freiermuth. Point of order, Craig also did not rank Travis Kelce.
That was the other guy.
So Craig's... Yes, that's the other guy. So Travis Kelce is 13th on our list. If you remove Craig from the rankings, he moves up to number 8. So, just something to consider. I'm not going to sit here and hammer Craig on this all day because Craig was not the only person to rate Travis Kelce that lowly. Sinch also put him at 16th on his list, behind guys like Isaiah Likely and Cade Otton. So I'm going to go after Sinch on this one.
Bring
we
it.
all know Kelce has slowed down a lot, right? I mean,
Look,
no one's disputing that, but 16?
This isn't about how good he is, how much he has in the tank, what he's got left. It's not that. Okay. It's that they have a smart head coach. And they don't need Kelce in week 4. They don't need Kelce in week 9. They need Kelce in week 19 and week 18 and week 20. They will do, and they did some last year. I think it'll be even more pronounced this year. They will keep him in the garage. They will throw the ball to him 5 times a game instead of 10 or 12 times a game. He'll be the guy that gets 3 catches for 38 yards, maybe a touchdown, maybe not. I didn't rank him 50. I ranked him in the teens because I think that's where he fits in. Again, it's not because he's not good enough to be higher. It's that his team needs him in the playoffs, so they're not going to count on him. They're not going to get the ball to him.
Right. So my question is then, if that's your basis for where you put Kelce, should people even consider drafting him? Because by that time in the season, fantasy football is over. So what good does Kelce really do you on a fantasy team?
Well, if you're asking me, I say no, I wouldn't draft him.
I was asking you. Okay, then.
Well, then, there you go. I'm answering.
Okay, good.
So,
why you gotta hate everybody, Craig?
The fantasy playoffs are typically weeks, 14 through 16, maybe as early as week 13. I'm looking at his stat lines from those weeks, and they are not good. I mean, 5 catches for 5 out of 6 for 45. I'm looking to see if he had any touchdowns. I don't see any touchdowns here. 5 for 6 for 45, 4 for 8 for 27, 5 for 7 for 30, and then 8 for 11 for 84. All games they won. He only went over 100 yards once all of last year. I mean, there's no question he's slowing down. If you look at the breakdown of his stats, it's the first time in his career his yards per touch was under 10. And his touches were up from the previous year. He still is getting a fair amount of touches here. He also fumbled twice last year, which he has not fumbled like that since 2018. So there is some different things. I just think both of you ranked him behind Cade Otton. So you guys are going on record on today, August 6, 2025, that Cade Otton is a better fantasy pick at tight end than Travis Kelce.
For where you can get Cade Otton compared to where people are going to draft Kelce, yes. I think it's a better value because you can, where people are going to draft Kelce, you can probably get another starting running back or a receiver that I think will be more productive for you.
That's not really what tight end rankings are. That would be like a top 200 rankings. Yes, you would have Cade Otton because you would get more value later. But what we're saying here is the 10th round, and you're like, man, I got to get a tight end. And you're staring at Travis Kelce and Cade Otton. And based on your guys' rankings, you'll take Cade Otton there.
Well, I don't know because I wouldn't draft a tight end in the 10th round.
Can I jump in and save Craig?
Please. I want to hear your thoughts on this too.
See, what I think you're trying to say is it's all about tiers. Really.
Yes.
All that matters is maybe like the top 8 tight ends is all that really matters. Because if you don't get tight end 6 or tight end 5, does tight end 7 to tight end 12 really matter? At that point, you've just shit all over that position in your lineup and said, I'll start whoever I could start. I'll drop them in week 2 and pick up somebody else. So if you have someone ranked 15, it doesn't matter. That just means I think this guy's a backup. And someone like Kelsey, in the perfect world, I would take Kelsey on my team, but I would take him later in the draft than he will last, because someone will say, Kelsey in round 6, I got to get him. But Kelsey's a guy. Now here's a guy. He's going to give you a week where he scores 28 points. And that's going to be a great week for you. And I hope he's in your starting lineup. I just think that in general, looking at that team, looking at his age, looking at how important he'll be in the postseason, I just don't think they're going to push him. I think they're going to let him take it easy and try and maneuver him through the season.
Okay.
And K-Dot rules.
Yeah, I it's a good thing. Our draft is our live league this year is going to be virtual draft because there's a lot of people with conflicting schedules. It's a good thing because I had already determined in my head that if K-Dot was on the board and Craig selected Mark Andrews or Travis Kelsey, I don't care if it's round 10 or round 20, I was going to pick up and hit him with a chair. I was going to go WWE on the back on Craig, and I was going to state that openly in advance that I was going to do that. I'd rather hit you with a cookie sheet. It makes a better sound, but you make do with what you have. It does make a better sound. So, and someday offline we'll discuss the story of the time that the source hit one of his roommates with a cookie sheet because they were watching wrestling and they were like, "Does that actually hurt?" And so they hit each other with cookie sheets to see if it actually hurts. So, all right. We're going to run through, where did we leave off? 15. We're going to run through the last of the top 20. And I'm going to ask one quick question. We're going to move on because we're almost out of time. We haven't even touched kickers or defenses yet. So number 16 on our list is Jake Ferguson. Number 17 is Tyler Warren. Number 18 is Kyle Pitts. Yes, we are all done with Kyle Pitts, guys. Nobody, Sinch did not rank him at all, but nobody ranked Kyle Pitts as a tight end one. So I'm not even going to question that. Colston Loveland, who should be ranked, if for no other reason, that name is number 19. And then number 20 is Isaiah Likely. So really quick, question for each of you. Of the guys we've mentioned, let me run down the list one more time. I want names outside this list. Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, George Kittle, Sam Laporta at 4, TJ Hawkinson at 5. And we got Njoku, Engram, and Tucker Kraft. Dallas Goedert is at 9, and Mark Andrews is our top 10. That's Jonnu, Hunter Henry, Travis Kelsey, Dalton Kincaid, Pat Fryermuth at 15, Jake Ferguson at 16, Tyler Ward at 17, Kyle Pitts at 18, Colston Loveland at 19, and Isaiah Likely at number 20. Give me one name really quickly outside that top 20 that you think could be a meaningful tight end this year. Somebody we haven't talked about at all. Go with Craig.
So I know I'm going to say this name, and Sinch is going to make fun of me because has a new team. Would be Noah Fant, since we've been Noah Fant truthers on this podcast since he was a rookie. But he is finally on an offense again that will use tight ends, so he has the potential to be a pretty decent tight end this year, fantasy-wise.
Isn't it amazing? We have stuck with Noah Fant still has potential, but we're finally done with Kyle Pitts. Funny
how that works, huh?
I don't know why, but I can't argue with it. We all jumped off the Kyle Pitts bandwagon, but for some reason, Noah Fant continues to be that sleeper in the darkness there that could get through. Sinch, who's outside that top 20 that you think could have a meaningful impact and maybe be a top tight end 1 or 2?
Dalton Schultz. He's not flashy, but he's a guy that gets lots of targets, and he has potential. He could be a top 10 guy.
Okay, I like that. Those are really good picks. You know what? I don't even have one. I'm looking at the list. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody at all at tight end, and I say that even with the guys I picked ranked high. So, all right, kicker preview. Pick one. That's it. Any advice on kickers?
Pick one that plays indoors most of the time.
There you go. Sinch, thoughts on kickers?
I was going to say the same thing. Go with a guy indoors if you can, or in a warm weather climate. Or the most important factor is you want a team that scores points. Doesn't have to be the highest scoring team in the league, because a team that's right around 10 in scoring gets close enough to not get a touchdown, and they're trying more field goals. So that might be the way to go. So or in Denver with the high elevation.
I'm going to give you a name that fits what you two of you just said, and that's Brandon Aubrey. in Dallas. Draft Brandon Aubrey and sleep like a baby. And when I say draft him, I mean like last 2 picks. And if he's gone, well, then just pick somebody. Just go.
Round 3.
Exactly.
Round 3. You're going to start your draft with Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, and Brandon Aubrey in that order.
I wonder what was the highest kicker has ever been drafted in a draft.
Oh, Lord. In this league?
In general.
I think it's
our league, if you remember.
Round?
Which round?
Probably 7th. I mean, I was on the Jason Elam train for so freaking long.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was good.
I can imagine someone looking at the lineup. All right, quarterback, 2 receivers, 2 running backs. Maybe tight ends aren't that good. Yeah, you know what? I need the best defense or the best kicker. Because they're just kind of doing it that way.
Oh, yeah. I've seen it happen. So speaking of which, let's move on to defenses. We'll spend 2 minutes on defenses. I'm just going to run down.
Win championships.
Defenses win championship except in fantasy. Although I think I did have one year that my defense was the deciding factor. So that's fair. All right, let's talk about our top 10 really quick. We've got the Baltimore Ravens at 1. We've got Denver and Philadelphia tied for 2nd. Really divisive. The Denver Broncos, everyone on our team except Craig put them as the number 1 defense. And Craig, so they miss out because Craig decided that Denver's not good. So we'll hear from him in a second. Philadelphia is tied for 2nd. They're technically 3rd. 4th is the Steelers. 5th is the Chiefs, which is a total mistake. The Chiefs' defense is not going to be good this year. I'm warning you now. 6 is the Minnesota Vikings. 7 is the Buffalo Bills. 8, the Detroit Lions. 9, the Chargers. And 10 is the Jets. These are all the names we expect to see year after year. Craig, a lot of these teams, you put the Vikings at 20. You put the Broncos at 19. You had a much different approach this year. What concerns you about the Denver Broncos that you're the only member of our team that did not rank them at 1?
Really, I think the Broncos are focused more on their offense. They're becoming a very high-powered, potentially, offense, and I feel like they're gonna, if their offense continues to grow as it did last season, I feel like they're gonna turn into kind of the same way the Chiefs and the Bengals were like, yeah, we can score 48 points. We just have to stop the other team from scoring 52 points. So that's they do have the home advantage air elevation thing going. So that's a plus. But for me, that's my concern is that they're so focused on their offense. I feel like their defense is kind of going to teeter off, really.
Craig hates everybody.
See?
Craig hates everybody.
Exactly.
Since you have the New York Jets as the number 4 offense, ahead of like traditional powerhouses.
That's a typo.
It is?
It is now.
Wow.
Maybe when I ranked it, it was fine.
Actually, hold on. I'm sorry. That is I'm reading the spreadsheet. I read the wrong line. You have the Jets at 32.
Right.
You have the Chargers at number 4.
No, I don't. Oh, yeah,
Yes.
I could see that.
You do.
I see it.
So you have the Chargers this year ahead of perennial like offense or defenses like the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers, teams that we've come to rely on for being standard kind of fantasy, just plug and plays. What are you seeing in the Chargers that makes you think that fantasy wise, they're going to have a big year defensively?
I trust the coaching. The best defense that you could have is an offense that stays on the field. If everything goes the way I think Jim Harbaugh, I'm mixing up my Harbaughs. If everything goes the way Jim Harbaugh wants his team to go, they're going to be a ground and pound ball control team. And that means the defense doesn't have to be on the field for that many series. So that is my thinking. And I mean, they have players. I'm not going to name secondary and cornerbacks and linebackers for the Chargers. I can't remember them right now. It's August.
Yeah.
That's my thinking. And I would also like to jump in real quick and say,
sure,
you guys have not ranked the 49ers high enough. The 49ers have Saleh back as defensive coordinator. He was a terrible head coach, but he was a very good defensive coordinator. And the weakest schedule in the league this year is the 49ers schedule. So I think that's a good defense.
Craig actually has them at number 2.
That's right.
Craig has them pretty high. I do not. And I'm struggling to remember why. But I do not. I think it's because I think I'm looking
Sean,
at my
Sean
notes
has them
really
at 32. Well, I guess Sean didn't rake anyone past.
I had them at
12.
5.
Yeah, you guys both had them in the top 5. I did not.
The AI also did not.
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes and I don't see anything here about them. That might have just been I've heard nothing, so they're sliding down the list kind of placement for me.
Let's look at their
What did I put them
schedule
at?
really.
I'm at 15.
What's their schedule really quick? Let's see here.
I will pull it up.
They have the weakest schedule. They play the AFC South, so that's the Titans and I think the NFC South. That's why I think their schedule is so easy.
And they play the Giants. And yeah.
Meh.
You
I don't
okay?
know. Yeah, there's some easy games on here. They're at home against the Jaguars. They go to the Giants.
Well,
They're at home against the Panthers.
Let's run through it and count wins.
All right,
Or,
you guys.
you
I'll
know
read
what?
them off.
No.
You guys.
Let's count losses.
Okay.
How many games do we think the Niners lose?
Okay. Niners at Seahawks. Anybody?
Lose. I think
run
they're
through
gonna,
the run
they're
through
gonna
the whole
split,
thing, and
but
we'll
lose.
just count losses.
All right, you don't want to go.
I think
all
they
right,
win
so
that game.
Okay.
They're at Seahawks. They're
That's a
at
win.
Saints. They host the Cardinals. They're hosting the Jaguars. They're at the Rams. They're at the Bucks. They host the Falcons. They're at the Texans. They are at the Giants. Then they host the Rams. Then they're at the Cardinals. Then they host the Panthers. Then they're at the Browns. Then they host the Titans. Then they're at the Colts. Then they host the Bears. And then they close the season by hosting the Seahawks. So how many losses do you have based on that list?
I had 4.
I have 7.
I have 6.
Man, I'll tell you.
And even some of these easy games, West Coast teams flying east historically struggle. I did not count them losing to the Giants, but would I be shocked if that game was harder than it looked? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have them losing to the Browns.
I had them
would be
losing.
shocked.
I had them losing to the Bucks.
You have to understand where the Giants are. The Giants
they're
are
in New
team-
Jersey. I know where they are.
They are a team that wants the number 1 overall pick. All they have to do is start out 0-4, 1-6, 1-7, and they will just be resting players that are healthy. Guys that have a headache will be sitting out the week. They've done it wrong. And the other thing is, this coaching staff, you need to make the playoffs or you're out. So if they are out, like if they are bad and they're not going to make the playoffs, you might see some really crazy things from the Giants. They might just lose their mind.
So wait, but on one hand, we're saying that we expect the Giants to tank to get the number 1 pick, but at the same time, we're saying that the coaching staff won't tank because their jobs are on the line?
I'm saying the coaching staff has to know that if they don't make the playoffs, they're out. They've been bad for years in a row now. So I think they're going to start Russell Wilson's there. He's going to be the guy. Russell Wilson's not good. I have zero confidence in Russell Wilson. So the only way that coaching staff, if they have a losing season, could try and say, hey, look, don't fire us, is if they throw in the rookie quarterback, Jackson Dart. He's not good. He's not going to lead them on some magical playoff run. I think the Giants are a mess. The Giants were the worst team in football. They didn't get the first pick, but they were the worst team in football last year. And I didn't see anything that makes me say, oh, look how much better they got. Sorry, Steph.
They were a playoff team the year before, though.
No.
Pulling it up.
The Daniel Jones playoff team, that was 3 years ago now. And even that team.
2022. You're 2022. They were 9-7. All right, so that was two full seasons ago.
Even that team, though, they really weren't that good. They made the playoffs, and you know what I'm saying? Like, they earned it. They got all those wins, but they weren't that good. They had a weak schedule, and some crazy stuff happened along the way, but no one was watching that Giant team saying, all right, look, they're on their way now. Hey, what can I tell you? Cinch hates everybody.
Okay. I think, I don't know. I'm not sold. I'm not sold on the 49ers every year just find a way to not get it done. Injury, quarterback injury primarily, it has been their problem. And when they lose their quarterback, they win 6 games every year. Look at their win totals going backwards. 6, 12, 13, 10, 6, 13. Now we're back into 2018. Since Shanahan has been there, it's been either 13 or 6 for the most part. So I don't know. I'm not sold on. I'm not sold on them or their defense right now.
I'm just saying they have an easy schedule, and that will lead me to think of their defense as a good defense to have.
Okay. Quick reminder, we are doing a live recording on August 20th at Two Roads Brewing in Stratford, Connecticut. This is going to be free to attend. If you're going to be in the area, we start recording at 7 p.m. If you have any questions, reach out to us. You can get us at our email at fignutsdfs@gmail.com. Again, fignutsdfs@gmail.com. We'll be happy to give you some info. Guys, we got to move on to final thoughts, because as usual, for some reason, when we do these three positions together, even though we just skip kickers basically, it takes us forever. And if we split them up, we can't fill the time. I don't understand what the hell it is with us. But let's go to Craig first. Craig, what's your final thought for this week?
Final thought for this week is you have to start preparing for your draft, people, because it's already August and it's going to be September before you know it. I would just say, is like I was mentioning before, is don't really, out of these three positions, there's really, unless you really, really want someone, there is zero need to reach for any of these positions. Just saying. That's my final thought.
There we go. Sinch, what's your final thought this week?
My final thought is tight ends are a lot like kickers when it comes to fantasy football. If you have the guy, if you have one of the top 3 or 4 guys, all right, you're set. You don't have to do anything else. But if you don't be afraid to drop that guy and pick up someone who might have a better matchup, because the guy that is the 12th ranked tight end isn't that far off from the 6th ranked tight end. So be fluid. Don't be locked in to what you think going into it. Tight ends, they're not that important. They're important, but they're not that important.
Okay. Fair enough. I don't even really know what my final thought is this week. I'm kind of brain dead from just trying to get through the tight end list. I think my final thought is, if you're not in a league, now is the time to start go ahead and looking for them. There's plenty of places that do free leagues. There's plenty of places that do paid leagues too. And depending on what state you're in, there are a number of different sites now that do specialty leagues, like guillotine leagues, things of that nature. Now is a great time to go ahead and
Britt,
sign up for one. Yeah.
We should try and do a podcast guillotine league. They're free to do. You don't need, you could do them with 5, you could do them with 10. You could go all the way up to, what would it be, 18, I guess. 18 weeks, 18 teams. We should, what do you think? Put that out there?
I think final thoughts is supposed to be a single segment where one person gets to talk, and then you could have brought that up
apologize.
After. Yeah,
I have
final
shame.
That's final thoughts is, but this, it's like, remember the old sports reporters, you let Mike Lupica go for 30 seconds and then you can yell at him afterwards. But yeah, so I don't know if I would ever do a guillotine league, honestly. Craig, what do you think about a guillotine league?
I hit the mute button. I think they're fun. They're different enough that I think they're worth trying out if you've never done one before.
Didn't you guys do my league last year?
I did.
I auto-drafted that. I auto-drafted that. I didn't actually participate. I just filled an empty spot because you needed a body.
I enjoyed it. I had a lot of people say it was fun. I was out too early. I was out in like week 5. But sorry.
All right, something we can discuss. Something you guys should be discussing is giving us a rating on whatever podcast directory you found us on. Usually it's Apple, but if anywhere else, please leave us a review, leave us a comment. We love reading them. You can also reach out to us. We had like a handful of fans this week reach out to us at our email, fignutsdfs@gmail.com, with a couple of questions about drafts. It was good to respond and to talk to a couple of folks. So you can also reach out to us that way. You can also engage with us. We're on Facebook, the Football Fignuts podcast on Facebook. You can find us there. That's also where you can find the details of our event that's coming up on August 20th. Gentlemen, the review season is in the books, which means next week the mayhem begins as we begin Roundtable.
Always fun.
And I have a little surprise in store for the 3 of you next week.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. What will it be? You'll have to tune in to find out. But until we do, my name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
And I'm Sinch.
And we didn't screw it up that time. Good job. And we are the Football Fignuts podcast. We will talk to you guys soon. We hope to see you on August 20th. And hi, Deb.